Hi, I'm Natasha Jarosak, Midsize Law Firm Marketing Manager with Thomson Reuters. Welcome to Leadership in Action, a series of short, timely, and relevant interviews with managing partners on issues important to running a successful midsize law firm. These podcasts are part of the Managing Partner series, presented by Thomson Reuters in affiliation with the Managing Partner Forum, and are hosted by John Remsen Jr., CEO of the Managing Partner Forum and President of the Remsen Group, an Atlanta-based consulting firm that works exclusively with law firms. In each podcast, John will interview a different managing partner on subject matter revolving around the Managing Partner Series topic of the month. Our guest this month is Mitchell Roth, managing partner at Much Shelist, a Chicago-based firm. Mr. Roth has over 25 years of experience advising entrepreneurs, owners, investors, and C-suite executives at large public and privately held companies, assisting them with their complex transactions involving sophisticated tax strategies, corporate governance, and succession planning. Welcome, John and Mitchell.
Well, thank you, Natasha, and welcome, Mitchell, to our podcast series. We're delighted to have you with us today. And the topic we're going to be drilling down on is economic trends and what it means for mid-sized law firms. And Mitchell, I've gotten to know through his participation in our managing partner conferences, and in particular an article I saw in Chicago Lawyer a couple of months ago that talked about how his law firm is capitalizing on some of these trends. So, Mitchell, welcome, and why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about your firm and its strategic goals looking out 3, 4, 5 years. Where are you guys going as a law firm?
Hey, John, thanks so much. Natasha, thank you also. Much Shelist has been around for just over 25 years. I am the third managing partner of the firm. Michael Shelist started the firm with Maury Much and a two-man shop that was doing corporate and some real estate, some estate planning, and fast forward 25 years later, and we're approaching 90 lawyers, predominantly in Chicago, with a satellite office in Orange County, California, with 5 or 6 attorneys there. Our niche is really representing middle market business, first, second, third generation business owners, banks that are more locally based, versus the large international institutions. And we do a lot of work in the private equity space for the mid-tier, PE firms. Very entrepreneurial-based law firm. Strategically, I would say for years our goal has been to be steadfastly independent, meaning we want to remain controlling our own destiny as a Chicago, middle market firm. A few years ago, we went through some strategic planning. I put together a committee to discuss vision when I first started in this role, and
for you,
wanted to know what everyone was thinking from different areas. Whether had some partners, had some associates, had people from different practice areas, and we started a long-term discussion on what does Much Shelist want to be when it grows up? What's our vision for the future? What's our landing on the moon aspiration? After exploring all sorts of opportunities, what we ended up agreeing to and growing out to the partnership was taking a step back that, we wanted to continue to be a preeminent middle market law firm. The problem with that goal was that the middle market has vastly changed in the last 10 or 15 years, not only in size and shape, but scope and geography.
2008, of course, hit a lot of firms in the gut, and the AmLaw 200 were certainly impacted. Mid-sized firms were impacted as well, and I think many folks like me suggested it accelerated a lot of long-term trends that were coming to the profession. Increasingly demanding clients, more competition, the effect of technology. You got to get out and hustle. And do you think some of these trends that are setting up are in fact favoring mid-market firms? By that I mean, Mitchell, do you see an increased willingness of large institutional clients to give important matters to smaller and mid-sized law firms because of those intense pressures on reining in legal fees?
We ended 2008 with probably our best year-end ever, and then came back after the holiday and we were afraid to turn the lights on because we didn't know what we were going to do next. So I think all firms around the country of any size and shape were, adversely impacted by, during those horrible times. We stayed the course, and what was damaging at that point in time has become an opportunity for us and for firms like us, and bigger and smaller. In-house counsel now have legal budgets that they must maintain. It's no longer bigger is better, or biggest is safest. So there is a lot of work within an in-house counsel's purview that they believe can be done equally effective and more economical by using smaller firms. So the bet the farm work has remained for the most part with the large firms, but everything else is wide open. So we started receiving calls and having opportunities to represent companies we never would have been able to get into pre-recession. That's both in litigation, that's in corporate, on the M&A side, on just general labor and employment. And, it runs the gamut. So once that door opens, our goal is to do great work at an economical price, but also try to expand the base and cross-sell other opportunities to the extent we can. So it's been great for us.
And did you go out and deliberately market this, or did you just find clients coming to you?
I would say a little bit of both, John. When we saw some of those opportunities open, it was an eye-opener that we could go out and also market it. And, in the world that we live in, is still very relationship-based. And, a lot of my colleagues have great relationships with general counsels around, the city and maybe throughout the country. And we started making phone calls and say, maybe we could be an alternative for you guys. Maybe we could do something, be your second or third tier counsel. We're not looking to replace, AmLaw 10 that you're using right now, but you have a lot of work that we believe we could do just as, if not better from a delivery, but from a cost sensitivity, we believe we're 30 to 40% less expensive than they are, delivering as good, if not better, a product.
That's got to be a very attractive value proposition for an in-house lawyer. I noticed also in this Chicago lawyer I referenced that you guys have had some success attracting laterals out of BigLaw who can come to your firm and perhaps build a book of business offering a better value proposition to clients. And you're having good success with that as well, you and other Chicago firms with that strategy. Can you speak to us a little bit about that and how you identify these laterals, and then, what you look for, how you integrate them into your firm?
The Chicago market, a little bit different than the rest of the country that based on conversations and some studying I've done, is extraordinarily competitive. So it's probably the busiest lateral market in the country. Every firm that wants to be national needs to have a presence in Chicago. There's been more law firms that have come here in the last 10 years, probably than any city in America. So lateral movement seems to be a continuing trend here. Now, the question really is how a firm of our size can be competitive in that marketplace. And one of the reasons, going back to your first question, is why I believe we need to be bigger with more depth is, still there's a huge percentage of the population of lawyers that believe they need a national firm to be effective, whether their practice is national or not. So there's a large percentage of people who are not having the opportunity to even interview because they are going to go look for somebody, whether it's a large mid-sized firm or a smaller large firm that has a super regional or national presence. However, through our PR, through our marketing efforts, through the headhunters that we do use, the recruiting officers that have been good to us, we've seen great opportunities. And when we see a good opportunity, we usually close it. There's a lot of lawyers that are disillusioned at large firms for a number of reasons. I'm not there, so I'm not here to criticize, but the rate structure is getting out of hand. The path to partnership is getting difficult. Big is so giant now that people are losing culture and not having fun practicing at these large firms. These are some of the anecdotes that I've heard.
And I hear them too.
They're looking for a platform where, A, they can grow their practice with a rate structure that is, more competitive, and more importantly, come to a firm that has a culture where everyone enjoys working together, that's collaborative, where people are having a good time and not taking themselves all that seriously. So we try to have a great time while practicing and provide great service at with a different value proposition. And those success stories.
Do you have trouble in some cases, Mitchell, keeping these people?
The reason we use the lateral market in the first place, including at the associate level, is I believe that most lawyers want to work at a large firm and get that experience under their belt, know what it's like, and by the time they come to us and have already had that experience, they know what they don't want.
They know what they don't like.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come to us and they get a different proposition, a different culture, a more collaborative, successful enterprise, they usually don't leave.
Before we wind up, I just wanted to get your take on alternative fee arrangements. We read so much about alternative fees are going to take over the way law firms bill for their services. What experiences are you having in the arena of alternative fee arrangements?
AFAs have been a topic for a number of years. You hear about them at seminars, you read about them in periodicals. They're a constant source of discussion. I believe all that outweighs the actual use of them in practice. So it's a small percentage of most firms that I deal with. Clients aren't jumping all over them. At least they haven't been. However, I think what AFAs really mean, what the client is really asking for, isn't the alternative fee arrangement, where you're taking, pieces of projects or otherwise. It really is all about aligning your interests with your clients, which we all should be doing. What the recession has done, and I think it's great for our business, though it's been resisted, our clients don't want, legal bills that they're not sure what they're going to be. They want clarity. So what we're doing differently, I believe, than a year, 2, and 5 or 10 years ago, is trying to train our lawyers to be more communicative with their clients and make sure the clients understand what the project entails, so there's no surprises. No one should send a bill out to a client and the client is surprised. If they're surprised, the communication is broken down somewhere.
Yep.
Secondly, and it's harder on litigation, but on most of the things that we do, there's no reason why, if a client wants clarity, that we can't provide them a flat fee. Here's what the project's going to cost. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, but the more you experience it, the better you'll get at doing it.
Mitchell, as we just open-ended, anything else you'd like to share with other managing partners around the country in terms of law firm economics, law firm finances, before we let you go today?
No, just in closing, John, you've been helpful, and I appreciate all the insight your company as well as Thompson has provided to us. We constantly learn through your guys' continued evolution of dealing with law firms of our size, bigger and smaller. So I appreciate all the education you guys have both provided us. I think the mid-sized law firms, though, that number of lawyers may be changing, but the value proposition we provide are closely held, as well as some of the larger public companies, is only getting more and more important, and it's a fun place to be today in the legal market.
It is a fun place to be. I enjoy working with the mid-market, and bigger is not always better, as I think we've come to realize. So, Mitchell, thank you so much for your time today. We really, really appreciate it, and hope you've enjoyed the podcast, and let's kick it back to Natasha.
Thanks, John and Mitchell. That was really insightful. And thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Managing Partner Series, Leadership in Action. For more information and resources, visit our microsite, www.legalsolutions.com/managing-partner.